or maybe even bail out. Chris?
All right, Mort, Chris and Chris, thank you very much. Well, here are two tight ends that are going to go in the first round. Gonzalez from Cal and LaFleur from LSU, the 6'7". You expect him to go in the next 10 picks, these two guys, Mel?
Well, I think they are. I think when you look at David LaFleur, 6'7", 280, outstanding blocker. Gonzalez is a tremendous athlete who's going to get better. Spent all that time on the hardwood. When he concentrates solely on football, you're looking at a better upside with Gonzalez, although right now LaFleur, outstanding inline blocker, really an extension of your offensive line, really had no quarterback at LSU that could accurately get him the football, so he had to adjust to a lot of poorly thrown balls, and I thought did as good a job in that offense as anyone could have expected.
Well, I think Mel, in this particular spot, you look at one football team that wants to take it to the next level and needs one particular player. That's going to be Tony Gonzalez for the Kansas City Chiefs. I look at the Chiefs here. I know the Cowboys want him to, and I know San Francisco covets Gonzalez as well. But I think for the Kansas City Chiefs, you've added running backs in Hill. You've got yourself a good football team. You've added the quarterback now in Elvis Grbac, which has kept, I think, held them back a little bit. Now, all of a sudden, they've never had anybody that can catch the football in the West Coast offense like Paul Hackett wants, the offensive coordinator. This kid here would fit the bill perfect. Plus, also, he comes out of Steve Mariucci's system, who is a West Coast type of guy. He's now the head coach in San Francisco. So everything that I see points for an opportunity for Kansas City, if they can make the deal, to add that one other element to the offense that can put it over the edge and match up with the defense that has done such a good job for him over the last couple of years.
Well, we've seen lots in the top. We've seen a couple of interesting picks, and as we wait for Atlanta, followed by Tampa Bay, Houston, and Cincinnati, let's go around to our reporters around the league, starting with the city where we all began today in St. Louis, the gateway to the West. Here's Mark Malone. Mark?
St. Louis set the pace for this year's NFL draft by drafting Orlando Pace, the most dominating offensive lineman in recent memory. Dick Vermeil and his staff will now turn their attention to the defensive side of the ball, looking for a quality cover corner. Now let's go to Seattle and Hank Goldberg.
Where they're very happy, Mark, because they got the two guys they wanted. They got Sean Springs with the first pick, the cornerback, and then they traded up with actually Tampa Bay. The Jets were holding that pick and it's handed off to Tampa Bay, and then they wind up with Walter Jones, and that was their plan all along. They had some anxious moments. You see their VP, Randy Mueller, on the phone there. He's making a tea time because they don't pick again until the 5th round. To Sal Paolantonio with the Jets.
Bill Parcells took James Farrier, went defense in the first round, and he's still trying to stockpile picks. But look for him to hold on to the first pick in the 2nd round and go defense again. Now let's go to Andrea Kramer in Tampa.
The Buccaneers started the day with 2 picks in the first round. They only had to drop down 4 spots, but they gained a 3rd rounder. So they'll be picking at 12, but they still could drop down a few spots before they choose again at 16. Could be talking about a wide receiver, Yatil Green or Ray Caruth. Right now, let's go to Linda Cohn in New Orleans.
Well, Saints coach Mike Ditka got what he wanted, a guy who has both strength and character in Chris Naoli, the offensive lineman, with their number 10 pick. Now he looks ahead to more offense. Next time he's on the board is at 33. Now let's get you to Miami and Chris Mortensen.
Well, for Jimmy Johnson, this is year 2 of a 3-year plan. He has 10 picks this weekend. He has 6 of the first 96, and I spoke to Ron Wolf, the Green Bay Packers general manager, a little while ago. He thinks from this point on, Jimmy Johnson controls this draft. Now let's go to the Dallas Cowboys with Chris Myers.
The Cowboys choosing 25th, their highest selection in 5 years. They're likely, though, to trade out of the first round into the second and save about $500,000. They have many needs this draft, like at linebacker, where Darren Smith has signed on with Philadelphia. Also, they might trade up if the quality wide receiver or tight end they covet is still around. We'll keep an eye on things in the war room with Jerry Jones. Right now, let's go to Green Bay and Gary Danielson.
For the Super Bowl champs, the word here is patience. Ron Wolf has scripted the first round, much like Mike Holmgren scripts the start of a new game. Let the draft come to the Packers and pick the best available player. Let's go back to New York and Chris.
All right, gang, thank you. We have gone about a third of the way through the first round. The clock is winding down on Atlanta. 3 minutes and 20 seconds of their pick. We'll be back.
I'm a soft-spoken kind of guy. There's nothing more important to me than a quiet chat with my son Shaquille. I just marched to the phone and dialed 1-800-COLLECT. money I saved him, he can use to buy some new backboards. Take it through the hole, Shaquille. He's gonna and they wonder where he gets it from.
1-800-COLLECT. Save the people you call up to 44%.
Time to enter the ESPN2 NHL Power Play Sweepstakes, presented by Dodge, MasterCard, and Quaker State. You could win large. You could win a trip for two to an ESPN televised 97 Stanley Cup final game, a 97 Dodge Avenger, a $5,000 gold MasterCard, or a case of Quaker State motor oil. Check out any ESPN2 NHL playoff game on these stakes. Watch the first game of the night. Call this number with the name of the team to get the first power play and have a chance to win. NHL players are not eligible to enter this contest.
Back at the 62nd annual NFL Draft, the pick is in for the Atlanta Falcons, the first of the Dan Reeves era. Commissioner Paul Tagliabue.
With the 11th pick in the first round, the Atlanta Falcons select Michael Booker, defensive back from Nebraska.
So another big, strong
Bay is now on the
defensive
clock
back,
with
and
the
that's well.
pick
They only had 6
acquired from Seattle
interceptions
by
last year
trade.
at Atlanta, which, by the way, is the lowest in the history of the National Football League. So here's a guy that can make a pick. But let's first make a pick, not a draft selection, but a pick interception. Let's go while he gets congratulations here in New York to Linda Cohn in New Orleans. Linda.
Standing by with Coach Mike Ditka, and Mike has always said the secret of success is success in the trenches, and Chris Naoli is a guy who can make some room for you.
Well, Linda, he's a great football player in our mind, and I mean, there's a lot of great football players out there, and I understand what people are saying. You know, it's interesting if you say you got to go pick a skill position, and there are a lot of great football players out there. I know that. We felt right now that, you know, to throw the ball and run the ball a little better, we got to get a little better up front on both sides of the ball, and I think Chris is going to come in there and help us in that area. He's a great character. He's my kind of football player, first of all. He's a tough guy, and I think he's one guy that might be able to holler at and he wouldn't get his feelings hurt too bad.
That's the key, especially one of your players. What about the offers that could be there, were there for you? How many were you debating over?
There were a couple offers, but I mean, realistically, for us to drop as far as we had to, it wouldn't have made any sense for us. We could have picked up a couple more drafts, but it wasn't really in our best interest. We have 2 high picks in the second round. We hope to put them to good use, and I think if the draft falls the way we hope it does, I think we'll come out in good shape.
Back to Naoli, do you think you can insert him right away as a starter?
Well, you know, we got a lot of good football players on this team, and I want to see what Ed King and Don Willis and some other people can do. But yes, we think that he's going to be a starter for us. I wouldn't have picked him at 10 guard if I didn't think he could start for us.
Okay, your next pick is number 33, and a lot of needs still out there, especially in the skilled positions that Coach Ditka has mentioned in wide receiver and in running back. Let's get you back to Chris Berman in New York.
As you come through, I'll hand it to you.
All right, Linda and Coach, welcome back. That's all we can say. We'll be intrigued to watch you on the sidelines with the New Orleans Saints. Well, cornerbacks, we talked about at the beginning when 2 of the top 5 went. We said, boy, they're only, I told you, 16 corners in the 30 previous years of the draft that went in the top 10. 3 in the top 10 today. Springs, Westbrook, Knight, and now Michael Booker, who at 6'1" is a big corner, Mel.
He's a big corner. He's got tremendous athletic ability. Technically needs to improve a little bit, but you can't teach the kind of size, speed, and jumping ability that Michael Booker has. He's going to get better with pro coaching. You know, pretty good tackler. Guy that will come up and support. Of course, he has that strong 205-pound frame. You see him in coverage. He makes some plays at Nebraska. Technically needs some work. There's no question of pro coaching will enhance his ability. This was the big game for him. The Florida game when Nebraska won the national title, had a big interception here, had a couple pass breakups. In fact, set a Fiesta Bowl record, I think 4 pass breakups in that game. He's the kind of guy who's going to get better and better. Good physical ability. Still, though, just a little early for these corners. I mean, everybody's forcing these corners up when you have so much depth. Obviously, these teams felt like they were better, significantly better than the other guys, but I still think it's a little early even for Michael Booker.
You know, Joe, we just look for a minute at Michael Booker. Let's not forget what an exciting day it is for all these young men. They're here in New York, first-round pick. They put on the hat. They're excited.